Hi, 7th grade. This is Mrs. Flynn. I am doing my very first screencast today, so we'll see how that goes. I wanted to talk to you about our 5-a-day language review. Last week we did week 18, and I noticed that on the Tuesday strategy 5-a-day that we need a little bit of work on that. We're supposed to be identifying something if a group of words is a phrase or a clause, and we're still having a little bit of struggle with that. So I wanted to refer you back over here to our original slideshow that we did. We were talking about what the difference was with phrases and clauses, and you guys filled out your worksheet packet on this. So we talked about why we need to learn about phrases and clauses and how phrases and clauses are going to help you with punctuation, obviously. They're going to help you with writing. And they're going to help you identify if you have a dangling modifier or a misplaced modifier. We talked about what is a phrase. So I just want to refer back to what is the difference between a phrase and a clause. So a phrase is a group of words. It's going to be missing a subject or a predicate verb, or both. It does not have a subject-predicate combination, and it doesn't make sense by itself, too. We talked about that before when we filled out our chart. There's lots of different types of phrases that we talk about all the time, whether we're in ELA class or whether we're in history class or science class. We have prepositional phrases that we're going to give those details when we're writing. We have verb phrases, which give us our action. We have positive phrases, which I try to point out when those happen in our science and our history. And we have verbals. That'll be something that we do a lot more of next year with participles, gerunds, and infinitives. I want to remind you, if you look back at your sheets, these are the things that we filled in. So we know that a clause has both a subject and a verb. Both are there. We do have two kinds of clauses. Remember, I've always told you that an independent clause can stand alone. It makes sense. A dependent clause, it also has a subject and a verb, but it doesn't make sense. So we need to be looking out for those when we're doing that strategy on the Tuesday 5-a-day right over here. So what I have done is, don't forget about the difference between an independent clause and a dependent clause. Independent clauses make sense, can stand alone. Dependent clauses do not stand alone. Don't forget that independent clauses are going to be like your 4 sentence types, like your declarative sentence, your interrogative sentence, your imperative, your exclamatory. Dependent clauses cannot stand alone. A lot of times you're going to see those start with those words like because or since, things like that. They don't make sense by themselves. So I've sent you a Google form. So let me see if it should look something like this. So we can do a little bit of practice. So everybody can put their input in here, and then we'll talk about these at the end. So if I had this grouping of words, go ahead and mark if it's a phrase or a clause, and you'll just indicate whichever one that is. So I'll put up the slides, give you an opportunity. When we're done, we're going to go through the answers we're going to talk about. We're going to be looking for those subjects, verbs, subjects and verbs to decide if something's a phrase or a clause. So when we're done with that, then I'll know how much more practice we need to do. All right, get going. Thanks, class.